The state of Texas is none too happy over the behavior of Roda Osman and have decided to revoke her passport.
Yeah, it looks like our girl, Miss Brickgate herself, is on the run. As you well know, she's not only on the run because she has a warrant out for her arrest in the city of Houston because of the GoFundMe money that she raised, over $42,000, but she cannot use her passport. We're going to talk about that here on Love Crossing Borders Travel Unraveled Edition, because we're going to break down how having a felony or being a felon can impact whether you have a passport or not. Let's get started. All right, before we get started, shout out to my man MTR, Mediocre Tutorial Review, that'll be speaking. Shout out to my man Theo Coop. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, Do Better Podcast. He's on his way, really close to 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, he's going to get one of those plaques in the back right there real soon. So make sure you subscribe to these gentlemen channel. And make sure, most of all, you guys subscribe to the YouTuber Miss Accountability. She's the one that did the investigation. She's the one that reached out and the police officials in Houston when she sent the information of the same scam that Rhonda ran in Minnesota. Therefore, she was able to convince the courts in Houston to press charges against Roda Osman because this woman frauded so many people of over $42,000. So what we're going to do is listen to Mediocre Tutorial Review, tell us about the court case, and he's also going to once again tell us about the fact that this woman has lost her passport. Yes, once you get a felony case, not necessarily a misdemeanor, but a felony case, one of the first things that you lose is your passport. Let's get started.
The state of Texas is none too happy over the behavior of Roda Osman and have decided to revoke her passport. Hello, the state of Texas versus Roda Osman. The defendant, with the date of the 10th of January 2024, for theft between $30,000 and $150,000.
Gotcha, bitch.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling Daphne. And shout out to one of my moderators, the fabulous Gail at Night, who sent me over this state of Texas versus Roda Osman court document.
Shout out to our girl, Gail at Night. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. She's one of our moderators. Well, she's the moderator for many individuals, but shout out to her as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to have all these channels that you need to subscribe to in the description of this video.
Got all the receipts. Here, defendant status, warrant or citation issued. Now, what she has to respond to is actually a third-degree felony as listed right here. So let's go over the docket sheet entries. So you'll see on 124, the complaint was filed, offense, $30,000 to $150,000, third-degree felony, zero bond amount. On the same day, they have a probable cause found. The warrant was then issued on the same day, and the court assigned her to appear on 1/1/2024 at 9 a.m., where she did not appear. Here goes the court document. I'm not going to read it all, but I wanted to draw you guys' attention to this section right here. On September 3rd, officers were dispatched to this address, which is where the alleged attack happened. In regards to aggravated assault incident, when officers arrived, they met with Roda Osman, hereafter referred to as the defendant, and her friend, who was later identified as Jatuan Griffin. I, Detective Thornian, was assigned to the case on September 15, 2023. I attempted to contact the defendant Osman with the phone number she provided in the report. I discovered it was the phone number of that same friend, Miss Griffin, and was able to get a statement from her. Miss Griffin proceeded to tell me that she was not from Houston and came to visit for the weekend. Miss Griffin stated that the last spot that they went to, they did not like, so they left. And then the defendant Osman called some of her male friends to come pick them up. As they got into the vehicle, Miss Griffin stated it was dark-colored sedan. Miss Griffin stated that she got into the front right passenger and defendant Osman was in the back left passenger. Ms. Griffin stated that out of nowhere, she heard defendant Osman yell, "Ouch, why'd you hit me?"
Now notice, This woman said that she was in the back seat of a car. She sold it to us on YouTube as if she was coming out of a club or she was just walking down the street. Some guy stopped her to try to get her phone number. Then all of a sudden, my man felt rejected, picked up a brick, bopped her upside the head. That's how she sold it to all of us, right? That's what we were thinking. But the truth has come out that she was actually in a car with a friend of hers that was visiting from out of town. There was a guy that was the driver. Her friend was in the right passenger seat. She was in the back behind the driver. At the same time, there was another man on the right side of the passenger seat or the back seat. So what ends up happening is all of a sudden she yells out something crazy. The guy gets out of the car who's in the back seat. He jumps into another car with some friends. And then all of a sudden, this incident unfolds that we all know about when it comes to Brickgate.
I asked Miss Griffin if there was an argument before she heard that. Miss Griffin said no. I asked Miss Griffin if there was any music playing, and she said no. Miss Griffin, who again is a friend that was there with her, stated off the recording she did not believe the defendant Osman was hit with a brick. Miss Griffin stated that the suspect then got out of the vehicle and got into another vehicle and drove off. Miss Griffin stated the defendant Osman went live on Instagram and she had to convince defendant Osman to call the police. Miss Griffin stated she did not know the two males she got into the car with and would have not been able to positively identify the suspects involved. Ms. Griffin provided the phone number to the defendant Osman and concluded the interview. It's also so odd to me if that you're calling men to come and pick you up. Why are you not in the front of the vehicle when your homegirl doesn't know them at all?
And it looks like that she used her friend from out of town as a scapegoat. In other words, as a witness or a false witness to what took place. Because realize, once again, the one person that was sitting in the front seat was from out of town and she was only going to be there for a couple days. So why is it that she was in the front seat, but Rhonda was in the back seat and she was the one that was the actual friend of the driver and the so-called gentleman that was sitting next to her in the back seat?
So what's happening now? Well, the state of Texas is none too happy over the behavior of Roda Osman and have decided to revoke her passport.
Let's stop right there. This is very important. There are three reasons why a person can lose their passport or not get a passport. As many of you know, I already did 10 years in the feds, state time. I got more numbers behind my name than a parking lot. So you guys know I know about what it takes to keep your passport or get your passport as a felon or an ex-felon. First thing is, in order to keep you from getting your passport or cause you to lose your passport is that you have a new felony case, such as she has. Even though it is a level 3, doesn't matter. She still has to give up her rights of her passport. Same thing when it comes to getting your passport. If you are currently fighting a case, you cannot get a passport. Once you're done fighting that case, or once you're done, in my case, doing time for your felony case, or you beat the case, then you can get your passport. The only time that you're not able to get a passport once you've been convicted, once you've done your time, is if you had an international trafficking case. So if you were trafficking stuff internationally that you weren't supposed to be trafficking and you were found guilty, yeah, you might not be able to get your passport even after you've done your time. Second thing that will keep you from getting your passport is you are currently on probation. If you are a person or you know somebody that's on probation, they will not, or you will not be able to get your passport. Third thing that keeps you from getting your passport, someone like probation, is being on parole. Being on parole will keep you from getting your passport. So if you're off probation and you're finally off parole, you just fill out your application like I did and you'll be able to get it. The last thing that could keep you from getting, and this is just a bonus, that could keep you from getting a passport even before you've been convicted, if you are currently on house arrest. That will freeze your passport or keep a person from being able to apply and be approved for a passport. So those are the 4 areas when it comes to federal as well as state courts that can either get your passport revoked or held up from you being able to acquire a passport until you get everything taken care of. Let's continue on with the video.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot more is to come as more information gets uncovered regarding her lies. Shout out to all of the internet detectives that came together to put the pieces to this bullshit puzzle together. Again, go over to the Queen of Accountability's channel. She's Celebrity on YouTube. Go over there. Show her some love, support her work. She goes out her way to ensure that accountability is established.
And also remember this, she was supposed to show up in court on the 11th of this month. Therefore, she did not show up to court. There is going to be a warrant out for her arrest right now. That's another reason why her passport has been revoked, because since she's on the run and she's Somalian, they believe that she may be running back to her home country or to another country. So we're going to stop the video right there when it comes to Roda Osman and see how this Brickgate situation pans out in the courts. While we're waiting on her to finally be arrested, we're also waiting on an apology, not just from her, but an apology from all the black women that gave to her GoFundMe, as well as all the black women that scrutinized the chivalry of black men across the country. Because even though Rhonda didn't get hit with bricks, it looks like black men for the last 6 months were being hit with the bricks of false accusations coming from black women when it came to protecting you, knowing that this situation with Brickgate wasn't true. And also, make sure before you leave,
make sure y'all go and check out Andrea and Andrea Love Crossing Borders, because he has a great channel that has great content and breaks down the mindset behind the people that's supposed to be able to move accordingly when it comes to operating with your passport.